Hi.
Hello. Confirm you
Hi.
can hear me.
Hmm. Yes, I can hear you. And
Cool.
it's been a drama for me today. No, this is the first time I'm scheduling a live. I normally just go live, send the link immediately and all that.
Fantastic.
So I was battling with how I was supposed to hit the calendar and go live. When I couldn't figure it out, I decided to do it the old fashioned way. How have you been? How was your trip?
Fantastic. We're live, right? We live?
Yes.
All right,
Yes, we're
cool.
live. You look rested. We are live. You look
Cool.
rested.
Yeah, I slept very well.
Okay. So you've rested,
Good
you're
to
well
see you. How are
rested, so
you?
we can get right into it. Fine, fine, fine. I'm doing okay, and I'm sure you're doing okay too. So I'm hoping that um because this link is different from the first one, so I'm hoping that people can actually navigate it because
Oh,
normally YouTube will put it out there that I'm live. So it'll be
right.
easy
Okay.
to navigate it, knowing that we put out the fact that it's at 100% joy. In any case, I'm going to upload it anyway. So it's like uploading
Yeah,
an episode. So people still get to watch it. So it's fine. So we just do justice to our conversation.
no worries.
Okay. So how did you like the
Mm.
topic? I want it all.
Yeah, so that is honestly, I feel like I want it all is my personal life mantra.
Oh,
You
sorry,
know,
sorry, Orifie.
yeah.
Please, before we go into it, please, could you just take out time and introduce yourself and say a little about, just brag about yourself a little bit before we get into it.
Right. Okay. Right.
Yeah, so that anybody that gets to watch it. Will-
But I tell everyone I'm a strategist by everything else. So I've gone around a very interesting journey in my personal life and come to the point where um, I'm a life strategist. That's really what I do. It's in line with helping people discover who they are so they can really design and live their best lives. Um,
Mm.
yeah, so I run the Star Life Center, which is I call it a self actualization practice, and self
Which I have
actualization
been a
simply
student
means
of.
being absolutely. Yeah, so self actualization simply means being the very best version of yourself, being the best that you can absolutely be. And I think that that is something that everyone should aspire for, not just live, not just exist, but thrive, right? And be the very best version of themselves. So that's what I do. I'm a self actualization coach and a life strategist. So we're working towards helping people be the best version of themselves and putting together the strategy to get them from where they are right now to where they want to be,
Where
which
they
is their
want to
best
be.
lives. Yeah.
And I think that
So that's what I
it is
do.
something that is much needed in our
Yeah, I think so.
conversation we're trying to have today. A lot of trying to figure out themselves, and a lot of people have unnecessary things holding them back. Just stuff that
Mm,
they cling to, or situations they find themselves that is holding them back from really stepping into
yeah.
who they should be, which was why I wanted to have this live with you. And
Yeah.
I decided that, well, why don't we just theme it? I want it all and allow you
Absolutely.
take the conversation
Absolutely.
from there, you know. So yeah. So what do you think about it? Wanting it
Yeah.
all.
So
Can we ever really have it all?
yeah. So like I was saying, I think you two things. So that's like my life mantra. I believe in it 100%. And I think you've stolen my book title. Just saying.
Yeah.
Because I'm writing a book with that exact title, and it's yeah. So
I
it's
know.
out. It's available on pre-order, and it'll be available on the 1st of May. Really. So yeah. So that's a
Okay.
book for career women, working women like myself who want it all. And like you
Mm.
ask the question, can people really have it all? And I say yes, 100% yes. And I say yes because you get to determine what all is. And that's, I
Mm.
think, the deciding factor. So you're not basing what all is on anyone else but yourself. What is all to you? Right. What
Mm.
is all to you? You get to determine what is success. You get to determine what your end goal is. You get to determine what your desires are. So you get to determine what all is. Right. And when
All
you
is.
determine is, you can get it. It's left for you to map out a path from where you are now to getting that all. What are the strategies you're going to put in place to get that all? Because it's not a one size fits all. You know, pun not
Mm-hmm.
intended. Yeah, it's not a one size
Mm.
fits all. Everyone has what is their own perfect life. Everyone has what all means to them. The thing or the ideal that would give their life meaning, right? Where they have a sense of fulfillment, a sense of purpose, and a sense of satisfaction, really. And hopefully a sense of reward as well. All of them putting, joining together, right? So it's left to you to determine what is all to you. We live in a
Yeah,
world
but
where
you see,
everyone thinks that everyone should want the same thing. And it really isn't that
thing.
way. So yeah, so we're getting to the point where people are starting to say, look, and I really don't want this. I really don't want that, honestly, right?
Mm.
So you can have it all because you are the only one that determines what that all is. No one else can.
But but
Yeah.
but one of the things I have noticed is most times we know what we want,
Mhm.
but focusing on women now, which is the thrust of the matter today. Most times you see women who are living very unfulfilled lives. They're not happy with their lives, but they don't seem to be doing anything intentional to
Yeah.
change it. So you take a woman in a relationship or a marriage, for instance, and somehow she feels limited from being able to step into her shoes as maybe a career
Mm,
woman or live her dreams. You know, sometimes not even because she's been held back.
yeah.
Sometimes it's because her focus is on um, trying to have the kind of marriage she wants. Maybe he's trying to put the man in line instead of focusing on, building, the life that she, and then you find out that at some point you just get everything all mixed up,
Mm,
and then it becomes a very
yeah.
toxic situation. And I think it's holding back a lot of women with a lot of potential, so I don't know, why do we do that? Why do we stay in toxic situations? Why do we give up our dreams, who we are, who we should be, our
Yeah.
authenticity, for
Absolutely.
mostly relationships or marriage? Why do we do it as women? Because I think that's one of the major things that limits us from really, really stepping into the fullness of who we are meant to be.
Right. Fantastic. Excellent question. And I think it's something that,
Thank you.
yeah. So, in one word, if I was going to just put it in one word, it's really about beliefs. It's about what you believe. It's about what we believe. It's about what they have believed. And I put it in this context: belief in the sense of um, what makes me acceptable. What gives me an
Mm,
identity? What does society say? Right, is what I need to be a good
mm,
person or a good woman.
mm.
Right. So those societal, I call it a mind trap, really. Right. Those societal beliefs, right, when they're embedded or they're, should I say, imbibed is what I'm looking for,
Yeah.
right? And a
Mm.
person is working based on that. Yeah, that person is going to put down everything else to try and meet up to
Yeah.
that societal ideal.
That
So I
belief
think that's
system.
the
Yeah.
yes. So I think that's really the starting point. And so for women in general, because I work mostly with women, like maybe like 90% with women, I tell them usually when they start that at this point, I'm going to need you to divorce yourself in your mind. Now, not a literal divorce, right? But just separate yourself, right, from all the other aspects of your life. We need to focus on you as a person. And that is what most women have forgotten, that before they were anything else, before they were wife, before they were mother, before they were
Mm.
employee, before they were a worker, whatever, they were a person or they are a person,
Person.
right? And
Yeah.
that person, if that person is not full and whole and complete, you cannot pour into all of these other roles that you occupy because all of the other things are your roles. You are the essence of who
Talk
you
about
are.
filling your cup
Yeah, yes, exactly. I was just going to say that. So we're
before you
out
can
there
pour
trying to
into other
pour
cup.
into other things from an empty cup or from a leaking cup, right? From a broken cup, from a basket of a cup,
Yeah.
struggling to pour into all of these things. And the cup itself is literally running dry. And that is what happens. So the
Mm.
more we don't focus on ourselves, it's more like self-rejection. You're rejecting, or pushing away who you are, the part of you that is going to fill you, which is very ironic because the more full a person is on the inside, the more fulfilled, satisfied, you know, confident in who they are, the better able they are to fill in all of these different roles. But we kind of have it the opposite from the outside in. If I'm a good wife, if I'm a good employee, if I'm a good this, if I'm a good that, then I'll be a good person. But no, your job is to find the essence of you
Yeah.
and be okay and confident with you. And with that
You first.
confidence, pour out into all of these different roles. Right. So that is why people stay in situations that are probably not the best for them and probably don't even do anything significant about it. Right.
About it.
Because society has said that to be accepted as a decent and good person, you need to be
You have to
XYZ.
wear some labels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, you have to wear some labels. So what you're saying in
You
essence
should
is
be
the
better. Yeah.
problem is
But
we want
yeah.
people's validation.
Yes, and we haven't understood that the validation we're looking for, the only one that is important or significant, is the one we give ourselves. Is when we're able to say to ourselves that
Ourselves.
this is me, this is who I am, and I am okay, I'm fine. Right. And until we're able to do that,
So
you'll be
how
struggling. You'll be struggling. Yeah. So that's the,
so
the
how
long
how
answer to
do
that question.
we exactly so how do we navigate finding our authentic self, given the fact that
Ah,
from
girl.
what we're saying, most times we're self-sabotaging because nobody's really laying the burdens we're laying on ourselves because we can easily just, draw healthy boundaries or something. But how do we go about finding our authentic self, which I know that that's an area you're an expert at?
Yeah. So let me tell my own story. I think I should just start from there. So I won't say I was because I still am. I'm someone who, as a child, I grew up, I was a good child, even if I say so myself, right? Doing everything that I was supposed to do. That was me. I was, go to school, I've gone to school, do well, I've done well in school, pass, I was just on time, no delay. Parents, honestly, my parents were and still are proud of me. I did everything the way I was supposed to. Get married straight out of school, bam. Oh yeah, start having children, bam. Oh yeah, boy, you're born. Oh yeah, girl, born. Oh yeah, everything, job, so everything
Mm,
was just the way society says it was supposed to be, right? But I got to a point in my life, late 30s, and it was like I was somebody hung me out to dry. And I looked back and I was like,
mm,
I've done everything that I'm supposed to do. This is what they said I was supposed to do, right? And as a good child of my father and my mother, I've done what they asked me to do. But why am I feeling like this? You know. So I was walking
mm,
around. I tell people like 2 years of my life, I don't know what happened. I was functioning, but I have no recollection of what happened in those two. I can't tell you what happened in those 2 years because I was there, but I
mm.
wasn't there. Right. So at the end of those 2 years,
Exactly.
I came to a point by myself. There's that prodigal son, that story in the Bible where the story says the guy came to himself. I came to myself at some point, and I'm like, this is not life. I cannot continue like this. Right. So I
Yeah.
agreed with myself that I was going to find a way out of this, and that was actually the beginning of my journey to pretty much where I am today. Right. So the question
Mm,
was, what you asked was, how do we go about finding your authentic self? You begin to seek.
yeah.
I quote the Bible a lot because it's like my manual for life. The Bible says, if you seek, you will find. And
You
that's
will
truly what
find.
happened. The minute I decided that, you know what, I'm going to start looking out for myself, all of a sudden, things that I'm sure were there always, I just began to see them. So I started to invest in programs, I started to invest in coaching. I'm still on coaching programs that really helped me, right? But what they helped me to do really was open up my mind to begin the search I really needed into the search for myself. So you asked about how do we
Mm,
go about our authenticity. The first thing is figuring out who you are, the self-discovery. Starting point of figuring out who the heck am I, like for real. And it's so
and why am I
interesting
here?
that even before you even get to why am I here. So who can, if you
Yeah.
want to even stop at the who am I,
What's my
right?
identity?
Who the heck am I? As in, why
And
am I
that's the
doing
most
this?
difficult question. That's the most difficult question to answer, I must say. Answering the question of who you are is such a difficult question to answer. And
Well, it
I
could
think it's the
be.
most difficult question. Yeah.
It could, well, I
Until
don't
you
think it
figure
is
it out.
anymore. Yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't
You
think it
know,
is
just
anymore.
like you said, because we have gone through this programming and conditioning, first by our parents, our schools, religious organizations, society,
Yeah.
over the years, you get to a point where you're actually stripped of who you are, and you're living by all these belief
And
systems and labels
expectations.
and and then so you actually do forget who you are if you didn't, grow up in an environment that was, strong on
Yeah.
actually making sure that you embrace your identity. And I mean, I want to say that in our generation, it was something that wasn't very easy to find because there was a manual and everybody had to go by that manual. I mean, now things are changing. People are trying to say, okay, individualized form of learning or
Mm-hmm,
raising kids,
mm-hmm.
or all my kids are not the same. I have to see what works. Some people are doing stuff like that. But when we grew up, it was one size
That's
fits
one
all,
size fits all.
and
And if you didn't fit
yeah,
in,
so
there's
that's
something
why I
wrong
said
with
I
you.
think sometimes you sometimes, in fact, a lot of people don't even know they need to find themselves, because you say,
Mm,
who are you? Oh, I'm a wife, I'm a mother, I own a business, and you're asking the person,
yeah.
who are you? I'm not asking about your label. I'm not asking
Not
about
about
what
your
you are.
role.
I'm asking about who you are.
Yeah.
And then that's where you get everybody go quiet. Like, what is she saying? I just told her who I am. So
I
how do
told her
people
all the
go
things I
about
do.
navigating this?
Right.
Exactly.
So I'm
I
an
mean, I'm sure by the time you tell us
evidence-based
how you
person.
found you, when you tell us how you found you, we will
So
know how to go about finding us.
interestingly, I went about it the long way. I went about it the
Okay.
long way, different programs, different activities. But by the time I got to the point where I like, okay, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to be. Then I was able to reverse engineer it, right? And say, okay, if I go through this first 4-step process, I'm going to be able to do it. And what are those 4 steps? Um, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, okay, great. So the 4 steps are: one, figuring out, I do it scientifically, your personality type. Like, basically, why do I act the way I do? Even just starting from there, how am I different from everyone else? Even just
Mm,
to me, that was such a mind blowing thing. Understanding for the first time that people behave the way they behave because they think differently from me, because they
yeah.
see things differently. They, even if we're in the same environment, they process differently from me. So they will always have a different perspective. That was mind blowing for me. Right. So the very first step is on this, even understanding how your mind works, which is like your personality, because how your mind works determines how you behave. So again, reverse engineering that. So started that's for me, that's always a starting point. Why do I act the way I do? Then the second part of it is, okay, so now I know why I'm like this. So, or who I am, then why am I here? Like,
Mm.
what? Yeah, I am of the very strong belief that every single person in this world, every single human being has a purpose. I'm a fan of the Montessori program. Dr. Montessori calls it the cosmic task. Blew my
Oh,
mind.
I like that. I'm going to write
Yeah,
that down. The cosmic, I call it purpose, but I
yeah,
like this.
I love it. So she
Oh,
doesn't
I call
even
it
put
the
it that way.
portfolio. Cosmic
Yeah,
task.
cosmic. So she says every single creature, everything on the earth has a cosmic task, right? And it's living by its own laws. So just by being itself, it's contributing to the balance, peace, homeostasis in the world. So from the ant to the crayfish to the corals in the ocean to the mountains, everything is just by being who it's supposed to be. It's not
Mm,
varying any direction. Yeah, it's contributing to the stability of the world. So
mm,
if we extrapolate that to human beings, by being who we are, if we're able to figure out who we are and be that person, we are also fulfilling our own cosmic task and contributing to the
mm,
peace of the world and our own inner peace. Because she says that it's because
mm,
human beings don't have inner peace, which is why there's always conflict on the outside. Because everyone is struggling to be significant, is struggling to be important, but they haven't figured out who they really are and just walked according to their own laws, who they are supposed to be. Right. So if you figure out who you are, what's my purpose? What am I supposed to do? And the beauty of it is what you're supposed to do is in line with your personality, is in line with your strengths, is in line with
mm,
what you like, is in line with what you don't
mm,
like. Right. So I tell people
mm.
there's nothing about you that is random. Even your
Yeah,
experiences, no matter how negative. I was talking to someone
exactly.
yesterday and I told her that look, anything that God allows her to happen, so anything that God allows to happen
Has
is
to
not a
happen.
waste. Cannot be a waste because there is something in that experience, right, that is going to shape who you're supposed to be. It's going to sharpen who you're supposed to be so that at the time you're ready to deploy and to deliver, you are equipped with all of these experiences, right? So everything you are going through, no matter how terrible it
Yeah.
is,
Because the experience is what grows you.
exactly. Experience. In fact, I was just thinking about it this morning that experiences are like, when you exercise, the muscle resistance, what I heard from exercise, I'm not really like an exercise person, to be honest. Disclaimer. But what I heard is that when you lift weights, right, your muscles, they kind of there's a tension in your muscles, and sometimes they break a bit, right? And when they repair themselves, they're stronger. So
Mm,
the muscle continually needs that resistance to get stronger, break a little bit, repair itself, and get stronger. So it's the same thing with our experiences, especially even the negative ones. As they stretch
mm,
us, we break a little bit, we repair, we're stronger, we've learned from the experience, we know what we didn't know before, and we're able to move forward, right? So, what is your purpose? Why are you here? I tell people, like, you just helping us to finish the oxygen that we're taking in this world. Is that your job? You just come and share oxygen with us and just come and eat and drink and whatever, right? And
and
then
go.
die? Is that it? Really? I don't think so. I think there's more. I think there's,
There's more. We're
everybody,
here
there's
for
so
a
much
reason.
more. Yeah. So once we figure out, okay, what's your personality type? What's your purpose? Then we talk about, so what's your dream? What's your vision? Right. And once you ask that question, a lot of people just go quiet. And the reason they go quiet is that there's a part of them that they've probably never even admitted to their own selves
Mm,
that they have this dream. So I'll tell you, when I was younger, I used to dream and see myself standing and talking in front of crowds. And I would be like, how can I talk in front of crowds? Because I'm so shy. I came across as bold, but I was really a very shy person. So I would argue with myself that how can I see myself in front of crowds when I'm so shy, right? So I don't think I ever told anybody about that. But it's something that was in my heart at one corner that, I'd use
they-
wrapper and everything to cover
I could have
and
placed
just
you
get
for a
there. It's
shy
not
person.
possible. No, I'm actually really, yeah, I'm actually really a strong introvert. Does it? But because I have a dual, no, not a dual personality, but a
Strong
mixed
temperament.
personality type. Yeah, a mixed personality type. So there's a part of me that can be outgoing and bold when I need to be. But on the average, when I'm just being by myself and just not even speaking is my default zone. When I need to, I can speak. So yeah, that's my own personality type. So it's interesting that yeah, what I was saying was everyone has something that they've hidden. It's like a hidden thing in the depths of your heart. You know.
Mm,
So either of two things, you've never actually thought about it, or you've thought about it and you decided that this is not possible, I can't do this, and you've kind of let it go. Right. So it's I really either of those two scenarios. So when you ask someone, what's your vision for life? They'll say, I used to make money now. I used to enjoy life. I'm like,
to
really?
be rich, to
What
live
is the
life,
reality? To
enjoy
have
life.
money. Is that really the dream you have for yourself? And then people go quiet.
Then when you make the money, then what? Then
And to
what?
enjoy now, then what? And travel now, then what? Then they go quiet
Then what?
because sometimes they're even afraid to say that. And sometimes they've forgotten. They don't even remember. So we have to, okay, let's go back into your mind. Because you are the only person that knows this thing. Something that's been hidden in the depths of your heart. Yeah. So I'll pull that out. And then the last part is the plan. Like I said, I'm a strategist. Because as far as I'm concerned, there's no point knowing all of these things if you're not going to do anything about it. That's a waste
Mm,
of oxygen. If you won't do anything about it, please just go and get out and stop disturbing the rest of us
mm,
and give us your oxygen share. Let's share it amongst ourselves. Yeah.
exactly.
So the last part of it is the plan. So now that I know how am I going to put this in place? So I understand that you can't go from 0 to 100. So how do we break it down into a goal? Obviously, that's the picture, and then smaller, manageable steps so that you're able to move.
Mm,
Yeah, little by little, bit by bit, as you're progressing, inching towards that goal that only you have. Yeah. So that's how we do it. We call it Me School. Yeah, we call it. That's our program like our flagship program at the Star Life Center. It's called Me School. Yeah.
mm.
That's really the essence of it. It's reintroducing you to yourself. The parts that have been buried under all of the years of programming, all of the years of indoctrination, all of the expectations, everything, just helping you peel
Yeah.
pull those back little by little until you come back in contact with yourself. So that really is to me, that's the basis of everyone's life. Literally, I think that's where your life starts in you. That's where you understand. That's where you understand yourself. That's where you begin to understand all the things that you probably had gone through. And even the things that start to happen, you're understanding them a bit more as well. Yeah. So that's where authenticity comes in, being yourself. This
Yeah,
comes from
being yourself. So getting
knowing
to know your
yourself. Yeah.
personality,
Yeah.
knowing your personality, who you are, why you act the way you do, the things you like, the things you're passionate about, the things you would love to do. In fact, I really enjoyed the workshop that we did, and I thought I knew
Right.
myself so well. But after that workshop, I was able to
Yeah.
embrace a part of me that I'm sure you remember the aha moment I had when I screamed and I was like, oh yes, this is, who I am and all that. And, it was an amazing experience. So,
Yeah.
okay. So I'm still going back
Right.
to
Oh,
us
so
as
I should
women.
actually mention. So that thing you attended, the Me School. So we try to compress that into a 1 day seminar, which is really we just focus
Okay.
really on the self discovery and the purpose part. So the
Discovery, yeah.
first thing, mostly we focus on those two. So there's one happening. I don't know when you're putting this up. There's one happening this
That's
weekend
me.
in London.
I know in
Yeah,
the UK.
a 1 day seminar in London. So who was listening, if you
I
can
was
jump
going to
in.
mention at the
Yeah.
end of that. I'm putting it up right away so people
All right.
get to
Cool.
see it and
We
know
can
that it's
mention it
happening. I
again.
guess I can pin it under the comments when I'm
Yeah.
posting it up
It's
because they
really
should actually try.
amazing. It's really
Yeah,
amazing. It's, yeah.
it would be a wonderful experience.
Mhm.
So, what are the boundaries? The kind of boundaries you think a woman should set before going into marriage or a relationship, given the fact that one of our biggest problems is having a sense of individuality, especially when we become yoked with somebody
Mm,
else. So, and I think that why we go through a lot when we're in a partnership or in a marriage is because we didn't define who we
yeah.
were
Absolutely.
related before so what kind of boundaries do you think a woman will need to set so that you can avoid some of those red flags? In fact, when I read your
Mhm.
abstract and I saw those red flags, I was like, my God, it was like you know, so many things are just flashing before me. All
Yeah.
the I'm a doormat, I can't speak, I should be taken advantage of. I'm a successful one, so the only men that can be attracted to me are gigolos. I can't have a career and be a mother or a wife at the same time. When you start pointing out those red flags, being a breadwinner and being silent about it
Mhm.
because you want everybody to see that, oh, I'm to take on his role. So now that you're taking on his role, he has taken back seat and become your last child. And then you say you're doing it for him, but you're actually doing it for
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
All these things that women go through in private, not even talk about the abuse and all that, and we don't talk about it because they're things that we have already, exposed ourselves to,
Yeah.
and we have painted this picture, people's validation, like we said in the beginning, and we just need people to be okay with who we are or give them a perfect picture of, where we're coming from, even though we know that no picture is perfect. So what are boundaries that women should set before going into marriage, partnerships, relationships, as the case may be?
Right. So I talk to young people a lot. So to me, it's like one of my, I don't want to call it a pet peeve or pet project. It's something I'm so passionate about because I believe
Mm,
that nobody should go into marriage before discovering who they are.
yeah,
Right. I feel like, so this whole thing we talked about knowing yourself, if you haven't done it, I feel like you shouldn't be getting married. And people say, oh, well, we're getting married in the past. Nothing. I say, yeah, but we didn't know it then.
yeah,
That information wasn't available. Right. So if the
exactly.
information is available now, there's no reason why any adult should be going into marriage without knowing, okay, this is who I am. This is the direction that I'm going. Because what that does is that you have a purpose, you have a goal that you're working towards. It helps you assess this person that I'm yoking myself with, using your words, are they going in the
Mm,
same direction? Right.
Yeah,
And I always give the example, people have different goals. If your goal is to travel the world, I want to be a global citizen, I want to have a
exactly.
house in every city in the world. And then, but you're meeting up or hooking up with a person whose goal is
Someone
to
who is just
retire and go
home.
to the village. And
Yes, I want to
that's
live in
what
my
it desires. I
village.
want to have a farm in my. Now, none of those goals is wrong. None of them is wrong in and of themselves. But when you yoke yourself together with having those two divergent goals, you're going to have
Yes,
problems
two different,
because you're
two
going in
different.
two different directions,
Mm,
right? So I
you're
would
never
say
going to meet.
exactly. Now, in the past, the story would have been, oh, you're a woman, you have to submit yourself to your husband, whatever your husband wants, you have to do. What I'm saying is that, yeah, yes, that doesn't, and that doesn't stop. The Bible is the Bible, it stays there. But how about you submit yourself to the one that is going the same way with you, just to help yourself in that
I think
submission
sometimes
journey?
impatience. I think impatience is another thing, or pressure, or like you said,
Girl,
what
fear,
society expects of us.
yeah.
Pressures people to okay, this is the one I have now. I'm sure somehow we'll
When
figure
you,
it out. It's not easy.
we'll be,
Somehow we'll figure it out. Somehow we'll figure it out is what gets people, into a place where
yeah.
you don't set boundaries before you don't. There are things that are so important. You don't even discuss them.
So,
You know.
honestly, Joy, there's some people that you don't even know what's important to you. You don't even know. Sometimes you don't even know. You have not known. I don't know how old I was when I was like, look, I think I like green areas. And my husband looked at me and was like, since when? He's like, since when? I'm like, I think since forever. I hadn't like articulated it or figured that that was something that was important to me. I like being
Mm,
around water, So I didn't know up until that point. Obviously, as human beings will continue to evolve, you can't know everything about yourself. But
yeah.
you know that I can't live in a concrete jungle. I can't live in a place where there's no greenery. It does something to me. I can't live in a
Mm,
place where everywhere. I didn't know that it was a thing, and I was allowed to have that.
mm,
That's like the laws that govern me as a person. I need to see green somewhere. Green has to be around me. I need trees, right? I need
yeah.
water. Yeah. So even just knowing what are my deal breakers? When you're an 18-year-old or a 21-year-old, you might not even know. You might not be as self-aware at that point in time to even know. Even 40 years old, 40-year-olds,
Yeah.
50-year-olds, they
I'm
don't
still
really
even
know that
getting
this
to
is
know myself.
yeah. So we're entering into marriage with no knowledge of ourselves, right? Why do I act this way? I don't know. What are the things that fill me up and recharge me? I don't know. What are the things that I don't know. Where do I want to go? I don't know. And you're doing all of that and going into marriage with someone who probably doesn't know as well. So you are, with all due respect, the blind leading the blind scenario. People are just going. That's it. That's a recipe
I'm trying to
for
figure it out.
problems. Just figure everything out. Right. So I think that in this day and age, with the knowledge that God has made available to us, you can know in part, and you can know enough to make informed decisions. Where is this person
Yeah.
going? Yeah. What is important to me in terms of a work ethic? We talked about some of the things that women are dealing with. You're a breadwinner, but chances are this person that you saw that probably didn't have a great work ethic, but you didn't know that that was a deal breaker for you at that point in time. Now you're
Yeah.
in this situation and you're crying. What are you going to do about it? Right. So you need to know what's important to me. What's my idea of a man? What does the man do? Because it's not the same for everybody. I wish I could turn that into a song. It's not the same for everybody. Right. It's not the same for everybody. What is important to you in a marriage? You need to know, you need to write it down. This is important to
Yes.
me. It's important to me that my man takes care of me no matter how much money I have. It's important to me.
Mm,
Right? It's
put it down.
important to me that your person is kind. And people think that's a very, why do I have to write it? Because it's not everybody that is kind. So you
Exactly.
need
And
to
it's not
put it
everybody
out
that
there and
thinks
say,
that you should be taken care of. Some men
yeah.
are feminists. They believe that you should take care of yourself.
And it's not everybody that believes that as a husband, they need to be kind. It's not everybody that thinks that. So you need to know
Yes.
this is what I want, because part of what you're doing is beginning to attract that to yourself. If you're not aware of it, you can't attract something that you're not aware of. You know, I went for a
Mm,
walk this afternoon, and as I was just, I tend to reflect a lot when I'm walking. So I'd heard something from Oprah, I think like 2 days ago, and she said she's learned how to manifest. This new agey things, but she's learned how
Yeah.
to manifest, and
She's my
that
person.
yeah. So manifesting to. So I was
I love
listening. I
to,
said,
I have her books. I love to listen to her.
honestly, I like how she put it because it made me think, and by thinking, I was able to come to a conclusion that was agreeable to me. So she said, in manifesting, you need to be at the vibration of what it is that you desire. So first of all, you need to know what it is that you desire, which is what we're talking about. You need to even know. That's the first part, and then secondly, you need
Mm.
to open up yourself to it, right? Be ready to receive it, but not be desperate for it, right? So as I was walking, I was just reflecting on that. What does that mean? This is what I've come again with English. Open up yourself to it, but don't be there. What does that mean? Right.
Yeah,
So
I mean, you
I was
set
just
the
meditating on it. Yeah.
intention and let it go. Don't cling to
Yeah.
it.
So
You let the intention, set the
no,
intention, let it go. Don't cling to it. Don't be saying, oh, when is it coming? When is it coming? Just let it go and just
so
trust that it is done.
let me tell you the conclusion that I came to that. May I say yes? So I understand that. So in my mind, I saw like three parallel lines. So going back to our, I don't know, is it secondary school or primary school mathematics now? Parallel lines. I say parallel lines, they never meet.
They
Right.
never
So
meet.
imagine your the different vibrations in different parallel lines. So your desire is on one parallel line. Let's call it in the middle, the thing that you want, right? Then
Mm,
doubt, not even believing it, is on another parallel line, maybe below it,
mm.
right? Then desperation is on another parallel line, maybe above it. So why all desire is in the middle? So you are supposed to know your desire, believing it, be
This thing is
open to
maths they
it.
are doing. No, you are doing maths now. You
So
are confusing my
it
parents. They're
just
just
occurred
putting
to me
parallel
that
line.
parallel lines never meet. So if you're operating
Yes.
on the vibration of doubts, you can never have that thing that you
Mm-hmm.
want. If it's disbelief,
Mm,
you don't even believe it. You can never have. If you are ignorant, you don't even know. You're in a different line. It
mm,
can never meet. If you are now desperate for it, desperation is on a different line. It can never. So all of these are parallel lines, and they are all going, but they can never meet. So the only way
mm,
you can get what you want is to know what your desire is. Believe that you can have it. Open yourself up to receive it, and then leave it. And what is that? Is that not what the Bible calls faith?
yeah.
So at the end of the day,
That,
all
I
of this
mean,
is just an
it's
explanation of
faith.
what faith is. Really, that's what it was to me.
Faith is.
That's what it is. Believe it. Open up yourself to it. Faith is the,
I
how
think
David
you
said, the
already have it.
assurance of things hoped for. Just do that and leave it. Don't be struggling. Don't be
Mm,
fighting. I said, Kai, this is faith. This people are talking about. But she has explained to me the how of faith. Whereas maybe church will just
of
say, oh,
faith.
have faith, have faith, have faith. We don't know how. But
Yeah.
this one tells me the
Mm,
how to do it. Know what it is you want,
mm,
desire, focus on it, believe in it, but
yeah.
don't force it. Yeah, because forcing it takes you into another a different level of vibration that can never get you what you want.
Mm,
Anyway,
mm.
how do we get here? Sorry. I've
I
lost track.
know because we're talking about the fact that most times we force things because we're
We are
impatient instead of just
desperate for
waiting
things.
for our lives to align with what is meant for us. Sometimes you just take a detour just before you get to your person. You
Yeah.
just take a detour. I
Because
wish
maybe
we could see the end from the
desperation and
beginning.
impatience, whatever, all of
Exactly.
these
So that's
things.
what we're talking about. That most times
Yeah.
that's what gets us to a point where we get caught up in relationships that we shouldn't be caught up with. Now, when you are now actually caught up in that kind of relationship we're talking about, either with an abuser or a narcissist or the fifth child or the loafer or the one that says, you know what, you're only supposed to take care of red
Hmm.
children for me. You are the baby making factory. You can't do any of that. In fact, your purpose in life is to take care of me and my children. That is why you were created. Now, when you
Hmm.
get, to that point, or the one that you just can't figure out, it's not going, it's not coming. You not say he doesn't want it, not say he wants, but you are just there. You understand? So, I mean, there are just so many. So now, how do you handle that kind of situation when you find yourself in it? Where do you get off managing that relationship? um if you decide to stay in, a lot of people, you see, we all have the our level of what they call it, tolerance. Some people can just decide that, I can be taking the pounding every day, or I can be taking the
Hmm.
disrespect every day. Some people, so when someone decides that, I'm going to stay here, most times we say because of our children, or let me just stay in the marriage, or my church will not agree to it, or something, whatever the reason. how do you handle a situation when you have found yourself that, okay, this is the soup I cooked to, and I have
Mm,
to eat it because I don't have money to buy another one. So
mm,
how do we handle that kind of situation?
mm. So, one of my things I think I say a lot is that there's no one size fits all, right? And this
Mm,
is something that I think is so important because a lot of women are here right now. And, you
mm,
know, I was at a conference, I think last year or 2 years ago, and someone asked the same questions. It was a Christian women's conference, right? And someone asked the same, pretty much the same question. They'll say, oh, if you don't want to speak, put it in anonymous, whatever. Someone asked the question, and then the panelists who answered in a very blasé way. If you're with a man you married him, it's like, it's your bed, you have to lie in it. And
Talk, talk long.
I thought to myself, that's not the answer to
No,
this
that's
question.
insensitive. Yeah, that's insensitive.
Yeah,
That's
I
not
thought
an
that's
answer.
not the answer. So this person is saying that, look, I'm a Christian woman. I'm in a tough situation. I'm looking for help. I'm
And
trying
I
to
don't know
figure
what
out
to
how
do.
to navigate it, and I don't know what to do. Right. And I want to
Mm,
still be a Christian woman. So again, there's no one size fits all. But there's I don't want to call it a formula, right? Of different activities or different responses, right? That people can mix and match depending on what their situation is, right? So
mm,
this is my, like I said, me, I'm a scientist theory. So this is my theory, right? And that's really the essence of the book I'm writing. So the first is on authenticity, and it's again, everything starts from you, right? Even if you're in a situation that is not good, it takes two to tango. If you are there, there's a
mhm,
reason why you are there. There's a part of you that was okay with some part of this, and that's why you are there. So this
mm,
self-discovery, you go back and figure out, okay, this is starting from who am I, right? Starting from what's my purpose, then going into, okay, how did I get into this situation? Because you got into
mm.
usually you weren't forced. How did I get into it? And sometimes that is talking about trauma. That is forgiving yourself for mistakes that you have
Taking
made,
responsibility. Yeah,
taking
take
responsibility for it.
responsibility.
Yeah. So I'm here
Mm,
because I stepped into it with my 2 feet. I didn't look, right? A lot of the times we're
mm,
angry with ourselves. We're resent, not just even with ourselves, we're angry with ourselves, we're even angry with God. How could you let me do this?
mm.
How could you be God in heaven and watch
It's
me
not.
making this
It's
kind
not
of
good.
mistake? And no, really, I'm just telling you.
When you're
So
looking
people
into
are angry,
starry eyes, it was all
angry.
about you.
Yeah, so they're angry with themselves. So forgiving yourself is a part of it. You also have to forgive God.
Mm.
Yeah. So this situation, yeah, okay. It is what it is. What it is.
But God didn't do anything now. God didn't do
So
anything. God gave us free will to choose. And
no,
we
but you know
choose
that as
that's all that
Christians,
can handle.
we believe that if we're going to do something wrong, you should stop. Why did you stop me? I know the one that knows
Really?
everything.
Really?
You know everything.
Is it
You
we
are
should leave my God
OG.
alone though?
You know everything. What kind of God are you? Which father will we watch and
Please.
allow his child to enter inside, put his hand inside fire?
I'm
Speaking,
sure
I need
God
to
is doing
charge
like
my
this,
phone. Oh,
that these children.
can we pause this thing? I need to charge my
Oh,
phone. Can we pause? Is there a way to pause? Ready?
we can't pause, but do you have like 5 minutes so we can round up? You
Oh,
think you
really?
have 5 minutes?
Um, I'm worried that it will go. I don't want it to. I don't want it to just cut off. Anyway, go ahead. Let's see. I don't know. You're saying me
Okay,
five
so let's
percent.
look at okay, so
Yeah.
what are the red flags one should look out for in a relationship? Talking to younger women now, and then when should a woman who is in that kind of relationship know that it's enough? So I'll just add the two
Okay.
questions together so we can
All
round up.
right. So one is, what should you look out for? I think you start by looking out for what you want. Right. If you know what you want and you're
Mm.
looking for it, chances are you will find it. It's when you don't know what you want and you're open to whatever that you will stumble on anything. So I think that's the first part. Now, what are the things to look out for? All of these things that we've written in here. Someone that has anger issues, right? Angry all the time, quick to anger, that's a red flag, right? That's a red flag. Someone that doesn't have a good work ethic.
Self-centered.
Yeah. Someone that doesn't, you can see, and all of these things, when women complain, they will admit that I actually saw it. It's not as if I didn't see it. I just thought maybe it was going to change. I thought maybe it
You
was
see,
just
but
not mature.
I was in
Yeah,
denial.
I just
Yeah.
thought, yeah, or I was just say, let's just, anyhow.
He will grow up. He will
It
grow
will
up with sense.
yeah. So anger issues, work ethic. You can see when someone doesn't have great work ethic. You can see it.
Mm.
Someone that's not responsible doesn't take responsibility for things. Someone
Yes,
that
for anything.
everything is always somebody else's fault.
Somebody
That's a
else's
red
fault.
flag.
That's a big red flag.
That's a red
That's a
flag.
very big one.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Someone that never has any money. Why don't you have money ever?
I'm working on something. I'm working
Ever.
on something.
Ever, ever, ever. And is comfortable with people doing things for them. That's a red
Mm.
flag.
That's a
Yeah.
big red flag.
Yeah. Someone that there's this thing that they say, watch how people treat other people. Right now that you're the rave of the moment and you're the sweetheart, they might not do
They're
treat you
treating
that
you
way, but
well.
how do they treat other people? Right? What's the relationship with their family? That's a big one. How do they
Mm-hmm.
relate, particularly to the women in their family? How do they relate to their sister? How do they relate to their mother? And
Yeah,
the one we
mom.
don't like to say, how do the parents relate to each other? Because men generally grow up to be their
You know,
fathers, and women
Orisha,
grow up to be their
let me
mothers.
chip in here.
Yeah.
Let me chip in here. I had a relationship in the past, and that I had to carry my slippers and run out of that. There was a day he lied to me, and I found out that he lied, and I said, why would he tell such a lie? And it's like, who do I think I am? That even he lies to his mom, and his mom takes it. So who am I not to take his
Wow.
lies?
Wow.
But
Hey.
it wasn't red flag enough. It wasn't red flag enough for me. It took a while. It took more red flags. I needed to see how red the flag was.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so when does a
So
woman know that
what's their
enough is
attitude?
enough?
Right. So the last thing I want to say, what's their attitude towards women? So check, there's a general attitude towards women. Someone that says women are a dime a
Mm,
dozen. That's not someone that's ready to take one woman and
mm.
treat her like a queen.
Yeah, there are women
Yeah.
everywhere.
So
Mm.
just watch out for those things that show a person's heart. People will reveal themselves to you. Like they always say, when someone tells you who they are, believe them. They're not
Believe
fake.
it.
Don't
Yeah.
whitewash it. Right. When does woman know enough is enough? When I feel like when you feel you're suffocating, I don't know if you should stay that long, but when you feel you're suffocating, yeah, when there's it's almost like there's no air. I've talked a lot about oxygen. When it feels like there's no air, it means that
And you've
it
lost
means your
yourself.
heart, you are
And you've
dying.
lost yourself.
Yeah, the essence of you is dying. That's what it means. So it's not that there's a loss of oxygen in the atmosphere. The essence of you is dying, is suffocating,
Mm,
right? And like I said earlier, the essence of you is here to fulfill a purpose. So that essence cannot die. Who you are
mm.
cannot die. So once you feel yourself dying, that's the time to take a step back, take a step aside, take a step anywhere, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
And
figure
figure
out,
things out.
yeah, figure it out. If you're with someone that
Find the
really take,
courage to
yeah,
just step
yeah,
away and figure
yeah,
things out.
figure
It
it out.
doesn't matter. You might find your way back because sometimes that time apart helps people to grow if
Right.
they
So
give
I want
themselves to it.
again, like I said, everything is not a one size fits all. I've seen couples who
Mm.
in the same house, right, decide to work on their marriage in the same house.
Yeah.
Right. So they've stepped away, but the stepping away is not physical. It's an emotional stepping away.
Emotional. Yeah.
But they are deciding, even with that, to work together. Right. So the people that step out, oh, you have to leave. One person has to leave. There's a way. Some people do that. Some
There are
people
different
divorce
ways to go
outright.
about stepping away.
Exactly.
It could be
Yeah. So
emotional,
this
it could be physical, it could be anything.
exactly.
It could be
Yeah. I
financial.
think the financial one probably should be the first. Anyway, anyway,
I
leave
get
that.
it.
Leave that part. We'll talk about that one, another day. Right. So it depends on what your situation is. It
Yeah.
depends on what your situation is. Are you with someone who's willing to face the fact that there's a problem here and who's willing to own up to their part of the problem while you own up to yours? Because I say for dysfunction to happen, it takes two people to be in a dysfunctional
Mm.
situation. It's not just one. So everybody has
Yeah.
to own their part of the dysfunction. If you're with someone
Mm.
who's willing to do that, then you guys can work together, right? Each person working on themselves and then working together to resolve that
Yeah.
situation. If you're with someone who is in denial, they don't have any problem, you might need to do a different kind of step in a way. Yeah, but you have to step away to survive.
Mm.
You owe that. You owe that to God. You can't just come and die
Yeah,
because you're in a marriage or in a situation. And if it's a
exactly.
relationship you are feeling like this, please, like they will say, remove your shoe from your leg and run. Right, run.
Mm. Yeah, because I mean, you're
Nobody's going
lucky.
to
It's still a
take
relationship.
responsibility for
You've
you.
not
Yeah,
tied yourself in there. Yeah, that was why I said in a marriage, when is it enough? Because I mean, with a
yeah.
relationship, we see the red
You
flags.
have a
You
way
should
out.
run.
Yeah, you have a way out.
Yeah,
So
you have
take
a
it.
way out.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
But in a marriage, when you only you will know that when your essence is dying, as in you're there but you're not there.
You don't even want to wake up in the We don't even want to get out of bed in the morning. There's no motivation. Your life is dead on the inside. Then it means that your essence is dying. The reason
Things
you're
like that.
here,
Yeah,
you've missed it.
it's
Yeah.
easy now.
Mm.
You have to do something.
So, Orife,
Yeah,
just to round it up,
there's a lot.
so that your phone doesn't go off,
Sorry.
what would you say to women who get to watch this and are probably in these situations and they are trying to find a balance between their marriage, their relationships, their dreams, their careers, whatever, and they're going through this struggle? What would you say to them?
Okay, so the first thing I would say is that you are
And then
important.
when you finish, still talk about the Me School
Okay.
program you're about to do in the UK right now. Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So the first part of it is knowing that you are important, right? You
Mm,
are valued above everything and anything. You're valued and you're valuable. You're so important that
mm,
you are more than what you are going through right now. So don't use what you're going through to identify yourself. That's the first part. Know that you're more than this situation, right? And
yeah.
again, like I said, the Bible says, if you seek, you will find. If you seek a way out, you will find a way out.
Mm,
Don't feel compelled to be bound to a situation that is killing you. If not even
mm,
for yourself, for those around you. If you have children, you are sowing a seed for your children that they will reap, unfortunately, right? So understand that you're important. There's something about you that is a gift for the world, that is designed to bless the world. Don't let that die. Don't let yourself die, right? Find
mm,
help. There's help these days. Find help, right? If you're
mm.
And honestly, while it takes two people to be in a dysfunction, it takes one person to change the situation.
You can speak to Ricky or
Say
you
again?
can speak to me. Speak to Ricky. I said they can speak or speak
Hey,
to me. We're both
absolutely.
coaches and
Absolutely.
we're here to
Absolutely.
help in
Absolutely.
any way you can. People should always fall back on
Absolutely.
support.
There's help out there. You can, yeah, I absolutely help that. As in, particularly for women, I'm passionate about women, passionate about young women. I think that we have so much to give and we have so much of a multiplier factor that if you are able to harness the essence of you and
Yeah.
deploy it in the state it's supposed to be, the impact is amazing. It's just a ripple effect across the whole world, starting from your immediate environment. So understand that you are important,
Mm,
understand that there's something inside of you, understand that there's help. Right? Because when one person changes in a situation, the dynamic changes, and that opens the door for the whole situation to change.
mm.
Right? So seek help. Yeah. And like Joy said, yeah, you can follow me, Billy. I think you're following Joy already at the Star Life Center
Yeah.
on Instagram. Yeah. Send a DM. Yeah. Any of the other social media handles, I think they're all tagged. Right. And we can have a
Or
conversation about it
LinkedIn.
on how to go. Yeah, or LinkedIn. I mentioned that there's the book is on pre-order right now, and it speaks to all of the different factors. So there's authenticity, there's a belief system, just looking at a belief system and believing the best communication, um, the don'ts, I'll just leave it at that, expectation. So it's a whole, I don't want to call it a formula, but it's a whole retinue of
I have read the abstract and
responses.
it's amazing.
Yeah,
It's a must read.
absolutely. So that's out
Coming
on
coming from a
first of May.
published author, it's a must read.
Thank you. It's out on the first of May because it's really for the working woman. So blessing all our working women on the first of May. So
Congratulations.
please,
Can't
I think
wait.
there should be a link in our bio on Instagram to click on pre-order so that you can have that book in your hands. It's even if I say so myself, it's a good read, right? And then for those who are still
I
at the
just said it
stage,
because I've read the
yeah,
abstract
so you're going to do it forward for
and
me.
it's loaded with so much. Oh, okay. Wow. I'll be honored because I mean, it was, for me, everything you wrote were things that I could relate to. And I feel like every woman, it can resonate with a lot of women, because most of the women that I've had to work with, they actually, are dealing with one of these issue
Yeah.
or the other. And I was like, my God, you just put everything together in one book. And somebody's reading and is like, oh, this is reality check. This is me just seeing, this is my life right in front of me. So for me, I
Yeah.
believe it's a book that, has to come out as soon as possible. And I
First
think
of
everybody,
May.
it's a must
First
have
of
for
May.
everybody.
Yeah. So take your
Thank
calendars, first of May. But
so
I was
much,
saying that for those who
Orifin.
are at the stage of
Yeah,
self-discovery, self-awareness, we have Me School going around the world this year. This weekend we're in the UK. So on the 15th of April, we have the one-day seminar here in London. So those who are in around these parts, you can register. It's still time to register. Little time to register, and that, yeah. But we're back in Nigeria and then go to West Africa. So before the end of the year. So watch that space. It's going to be in a lot of places. Just taking the self awareness and self discovery journey around, because a lot of people really, really, really need it. Just trying to, yeah.
I have to go to your one of. I have to go with you on one of these trips. I just have to go with you on one of these trips. There's no
You are
way. I have to
welcome.
go as a fellow coach. Fellow coach. I'm
You're
coming
most welcome.
out.
Thanks for
Thank you
having
so much, Orifin.
me.
You guys have heard
Thank you.
everything. And I'm sure that anyone who gets to watch this is definitely going to be blessed, inspired, and impacted. So if you're in the UK, 15th of April
Mhm.
this weekend, trust me, you would want to go to the Me School. In fact, the model I used for my workshop was partly inspired or greatly inspired by the Me School model, because I attended the Me School. And that's how I, even really worked on my life design workshop. So trust me, it's something you want to do, because it it was a phenomenal experience for me. So you want to do it. So if you're in the neighborhood, please hit Orifie up. DM on Instagram. It's I am Orifie, I think FIE. It's on the thumbnail of this life. So please hit up and pre-order her book coming out 1st of May. It's titled I Want It All. I still have title for the live. So thank you so much for joining us, and look forward to another interesting conversation with you. I think your battery has gone off. So thank you so much, and bye bye.